Good morning, students. Yesterday, as we had seen, principles of management given by Henry Fayol. There are 14 principles of management given by Henry Fayol. Okay, division of work, second, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interests to general interest, remuneration of personnel. Yesterday we had seen out of 14 7 principles of management. I have explained all 7 principles of management. Now let us see other 7 principles of management. Centralization. Now, what is centralization? First of all, you need to know what is centralization and what is decentralization. Centralization means power at one end, okay, and decentralization means giving the authority and powers to others. That is called as decentralization. In centralization, they do not give any powers to anybody. Only one person or group of people have the all the powers, okay, and in decentralization you give the powers and authority to others. That is called as decentralization. Okay, now Henry Fayol says that if we apply the principle of centralization, then we can get the best work done from the employees. Okay, all the best work we can do, in short, maximum utilization of all the employees if we apply the principle of centralization. Okay, but here there is another rule of applying centralization or decentralization. Always the size of the business unit matters. If the size of the business unit is small, you can apply centralization. But if the size of the business unit is big, you have to apply decentralization. Okay, so according to the Henry Fayol, if you have the small business unit and if you apply the principle of centralization, you can get the best work done from your employees. Next one, scalar chain. Sorry, scalar chain. What is scalar chain? Okay, scalar chain means to make a chain of employees according to their power from top level management to bottom level management. Once again, I repeat, what is scalar chain? Scalar chain means to make a chain of employees according to their powers from top level management to bottom level management. Here I have made, can you see, scalar chain? SC stands for scalar chain. Okay, top level management to middle level and middle level to bottom level. So here you are making a chain of employees from top level management to the bottom level management. Here I have given the example. Suppose say CEO, then under CEO you have board of directors, then under departmental heads, then employees and workers. So we are right now making a chain of the employees from top level management to the bottom level management. Now, what happens over here when you make this scalar chain? When you make a scalar chain, it is very clear who is having more authority, who is having more power, okay, from whom we should take the instructions. For example, now workers are instructing departmental heads. Will the departmental heads take the instruction? No way, right? So, by scalar chain, it's really very clear that who is having the utmost power. Okay, we'll come to know that who can give orders to whom. Also, we'll come to know which employees are answerable to whom. For example, if the departmental heads will do something wrong or something wrong goes away, then the CEO may ask them the question why this happened, or the board of directors can also ask the question to departmental heads that why this particular thing took place in your department. Okay, so if employees do something wrong, then they are answerable to the departmental heads. So this is scalar chain. Okay, understood? Scalar chain always moves from top level management to the bottom level management, but reporting moves from bottom level management to the top level management. Okay, it always moves from the bottom level management to the top level management. Understood, everybody? Okay, so this is the scalar chain. Next one is order. Now when we talk about the order, okay, order, in order we have two parameters, two concepts are included in the order. Okay, one is RM arrangement, means raw material arrangement, and second is social arrangement. Social means employees. Employees are to be arranged properly, so that is called as social arrangement. Okay, so when we talk about orders, two parameters are considered. The first one is the raw material arrangement, and second is social arrangement, means employees should be arranged properly. Now raw material should be placed at proper place. Okay, because raw material, if you don't place at proper place, it can get spoiled. So it is very important that you have a proper appropriate place to put the raw material. And employees has to be given proper position according to their qualification, according to their skill, according to their ability, according to their specialization. Everything has to be considered, and according to that particular things, keeping in mind, we should give them proper proposition. We should place them in a proper position, or we should give them the work according to their qualification, according to their specialization. So that is arrangement of employees. So when we talk about orders, there are two parameters: raw material arrangement and social arrangement, means employees should be arranged properly. Okay, next one, 11th one. 11th one is equality. Now the principle itself is saying equality. Okay, now we have top level management, middle level management, and bottom level management. Okay, everybody should be respected. The board of directors cannot talk in a rude way with the employees, or the departmental heads cannot talk in a very bad way with the workers. Okay, because they are human beings. Okay, as they are human beings, they needed to be treated properly without any partiality. That is really very important. Okay, we have to talk to them in a proper way. We cannot uh, talk with them in a very rude way, because they are human beings, they have emotions. Okay, they also have their ego. Okay, because they are also a living being, they are not the non-living being, so we have to treat them properly. Okay, a practical approach is needed whenever we deal with the employees, whenever we deal with the workers. And the workers or the employees behavior depends on the attitude, justice of manager or supervisors. Okay, if managers and supervisors are faithful towards them, are having good attitude, are doing all the decisions, making all the decisions considering justice, okay, taking all the decisions which are unbiased, automatically the behavior of employees will be really very good, and their efficiency will also increase towards the business unit. So that will come under equality. Next is stability of personal tenure. Now when I say stability of personal tenure, what it means? Stability of employees, personal personal tenure. Stability of personal tenure means stability of employees. Okay, you need contented employees, you need proper employees. Okay, you need satisfied, happy employees. Why you need satisfied and happy employees? If the employees are not satisfied, they will leave the business unit and go somewhere else. And every time you are having good employees, but as you are not providing proper salary or maybe proper facilities, they move to the other business unit, which is not good for your business unit. If you want that your business unit does really very well, then you have to keep in mind that the good employees, the expert employees, okay, should not leave your business unit and go somewhere else. That is really very important. Okay, so that is stability of personal tenure. You see that a good person, good employees, okay, having nice good ability or capability should remain in your business unit for longer period of time. If this type of employees remain in your business unit for longer period of time, automatically the business unit will succeed, the objective of business unit will be achieved easily. So that is stability of personal tenure. Next, initiative, or I can say leadership. Okay, it's really very important that the employees take initiative. Okay, but for if you want that your employees take the participation in different activities which are going on in your business unit, or you want that the employees should give their opinion, give their suggestion, give their advice, then it's really very important that you keep a conducive environment, a harmonious environment, or a free environment in the business unit. If the environment is free, automatically the employees will take the initiative and come to you and give you the advice or give you the opinion, or they will take the initiative of doing something good. Okay, or they will take the initiative to doing more work. Okay, in short, if they will start taking initiative, and if you motivate them, if you inspire them to take more initiative in the same way, then they will develop the quality of leadership. And the quality of leadership, if they develop the quality of leadership, very soon they can be very good managers. So if you want leadership qualities in your employees, if you want good managers in your business unit, then it's very important that you give them free atmosphere. If there will be free atmosphere, they will take the initiative means they will start doing the work by themselves. They will take the initiative. You are not told that you do it. Okay, but as they are happy, as the atmosphere is free, they will try to do something which is good for the business unit, which can give prestige or which can increase the profit for the business unit. So that is about initiative. And the last one, feeling of oneness. Okay, now when we talk about feeling of oneness, okay, this will come when there is no conflict, no fighting among the owners and among the uh, employees. Very much important, because these two are the most important uh, groups in the business unit, owners and employees. If owners and employees are having good relationship, they are thinking positively about each other, automatically the success of business unit will take place. It's very important that there is and when there can be a good relationship between the owner and the employees, when the owner provides good salary or wages to the employees, they will be really very happy, and they will feel that yes, owners are taking care of them, and they will get the feeling of oneness. The employees will feel that yes, they are also important for the business unit. Okay, they will feel that yes, they are also the part of the business unit, and they will get the feeling of oneness. Okay, and if the feeling of oneness will come, the employees will work more efficiently, will do more hard work, and the objective of the business unit will achieved very easily. Okay, so here we complete with the 14 principles of management given by Henry Ford. Okay, now the very last topic, okay, that is very small topic, that is contribution of Peter F. Drucker in the field of management. Contribution of Peter F. Drucker in the field of management. Now, first of all, who is Peter F. Drucker? Peter F. Drucker is a managerial leader, well known managerial leader. He is a famous writer, philosopher, as well as an educator. Okay, I have written for you all. First point, who is Peter F. Drucker? Peter F. Drucker is a well known managerial leader. He is a famous writer, philosopher, and an educator. Okay, now Peter F. Drucker has also given many principles of management. And why he brought new principles of management? Due to globalization. Due to globalization, there was many changes that took place in the business. I have written changes in business due to globalization. So there were a lot of changes in the business unit, or in the formats of the business, size of the business, due to globalization, and because of which Peter F. Drucker has given some new principles of management. Which new principles of management he has given? Here I have written MBO. Okay, MBO means we can say managing business objectives, that is MBO. Okay, management by objectives. Okay, MBO means management by objectives. Okay, as well as he has given principles of self regulation. Okay, so which principles are given by Peter F. Drucker? MBO, management by objective. Management by objective and principle of self regulation. Okay, as well as he has also contributed in HRM, that is human resource management, marketing management, and stress management. So Peter F. Drucker has also contributed in the human resource management, marketing management, and stress management. And that is why these are all the new concept which has come after globalization, after the problem of globalization. That is why he is called the father of modern management. He is the most modern expert to give the principles. So he is called the, or he is the, he is the what can I say, after globalization he was the one who gave the principles of management. That is why he is called the father of modern management. So once again I repeat what he is. He is a managerial leader, a famous writer, philosopher, and an educator. He started giving the principles of management after the change was observed in the business due to globalization. What new concept he has given? MBO, that is management by objective, and principles of self regulation. He has also contributed in human resource management, marketing management, and stress management, and this all are the modern concept. That is why the Peter F. Drucker is also known as father of modern management. Okay, so here we complete with the second chapter of OC. Okay, now I am going to, we at least will discuss question number 4 and question number 5. Okay, first one, discuss question number 4. First one, discuss about importance of principles of management. It's on page number 19. Okay, discuss about importance of principles of management, page number 19. Write a short note on modern thoughts of management, page number 21. Okay, next one, principles of management are based on human behavior. Explain the statement. Okay, that is also on page number 21. On 21 you will get. Okay, explain behavior related thoughts. That is also on page number 21. And last one, discuss about Peter F. Drucker contribution in management field, what we did right now. It's on page number 26. Okay, it's on page number 26. Okay, question number 5. First one, discuss the principles of scientific management, page number 22. Discuss the principles of scientific management, page number 22. Second one, describe in detail about classical thoughts, page number 20. Okay, describe Henry Fayol's principles of management. There are 14 principles of management, page number 24. And describe in detail about nature of, over there they have just written nature of management. There you write nature of scientific management. Please add scientific. Describe in detail about nature of management. Just write scientific. Describe in detail about nature of scientific management. It's on page number 19. All the characteristics, that is the nature. Okay, thank you.